Okay guys, we're going to talk about preacher curls today. We have two preacher curl units and obviously the usual preacher curl bench for free weights. I like all of these machines. It's how to adjust them is really the key, not just on the machines like this one, but also on the preacher curl bench that we're using a barbell with. There's a tendency for guys especially to think that the more weight they lift on that preacher curl movement, the bigger their biceps are going to grow. It's not always the case. You will find guys who are naturally bigger guys who grow no matter what they do, and the rules of proper form may not apply to them in the same way that they apply to somebody who's that little bit lighter and skinnier. So it really depends on the body, on what you can get away with. So if you're training with somebody and they have big biceps and they get onto this and do it whatever way, it may well not apply to you. So the first thing to do is to adjust the seats. And on these units, I like to have the seat down as low as possible. So it's adjustable under here somewhere, back here. Drop it down to the bottom. That's the first part of it. So we're in here. So what I want to have the top of the curved section on the pad into my armpit. And then, because on this machine it moves, I want to get right in underneath it like so. So that as I come up through the range, there's a big stretch at the bottom, and there's a really big squeeze at the top. So if I'm using this, I don't actually put any weight on it because I find that it's very strict. There's a big stretch and a huge contraction at the top. And why would I want to load it up just to impress somebody with how much weight that I can lift? So again, big stretch at the bottom, massive squeeze at the top. I'm going to instigate growth. I'm going to get growth out of this hypertrophy because the focus is all on the muscle. I'm not worrying about how much weight. You will get guys using this up at the top like so, leaning over onto it so that you can get a load of this going on, and it's just not as effective. Now, of course, I can feel my biceps working on this one now. You know, not to say that it's wrong, but if you're sacrificing the amount of weight for your technique, it's a mistake. This one is an isolation exercise. It's very strict. The idea of it is that you are isolating down here at the insertion on the elbow, and you can end up with serious elbow problems. Okay guys, so here we are with the hammer preacher curl unit. Again, it does the job that it's supposed to. It hits the bicep. You just need to find your position on the machine that suits you best. I still prefer to have the seat down very low, so I'm not cheating, using body movement to get it up. And I'm going to come up to here. Now it's loaded. Big squeeze at the top, big stretch at the bottom. And I'm slightly higher up on the angled bench. And I'm controlling the movement, stopping at the bottom, hitting the insertions at the elbow, and getting a big squeeze at the top. And that's simply it. Put the seat down low. Put the seat down low. Slow down the range of move, the form on it, it's the pace. Don't go too fast. Don't overload it. Focus on isolation. And it's for in here, the insertion at your elbow, okay? Okay, so this is the barbell preacher curl bench. It has many uses aside from preacher curls. Obviously you can do tricep and shoulder work on it. But for what we're about to talk about today, it's preacher curls. And we'll set up the position on the bench. And again, for me, this is what I prefer, all the way down to the bottom. Coming in over the top like so. Very close grip on the bar. And now I'm snug onto the top of the 45-degree angled bench. I have a big squeeze on the top and a big stretch at the bottom. And I'm not doing any of this stuff, rebounding. I'm not moving my body weight up and over like this to help assist me to lift heavier weights that I'm actually not lifting with my biceps. So Slow and steady. And one of the things that's difficult about weight training, especially at the beginning, is the feeling of not being able to finish your numbers, sets and reps. And of course, when you become a little bit more advanced, you realize that failure is where we need to be if we want to make progress. So that feeling of it's very difficult is essential for progress, and you have to be able to accept that that's what it is. And the other side is that, of course, people say all the time, when does it get easier? It never gets easier. If it gets easier, you're not making progress. In fact, you're going backwards. So you're always trying to challenge yourself. You're always trying to find ways to make it more difficult. That's what this is all about with form. How am I going to be able to isolate that muscle that little bit more so that I can get it to grow?